Hi, my name's Keith Miles. I'm a change management expert. To help you while you're reinventing your organization, I gave you a leadership framework last week. It has 3 essentials: empathize, engage, and evaluate. Something you can make your own. Today we're going to talk about empathize, how you can demonstrate practical emotional intelligence with your people going forward and leading. Hang with me for 4 minutes. You'll hear some great ideas, a danger to avoid, and why this is such a benefit to you as a leader. So here we go. Empathize has 2 aspects. We'll talk about the first one, honoring people. That means understanding what your people have gone through. Dig in a little bit, find out, be credible, but then go that extra step farther. Spend a few minutes per person, investigate something that may help them. Some educational or career opportunity or resource or webinar, some resource outside the company that might be of interest to them. They're going to see that little bit of extra time that you spend they'll exceed their expectation for you at this moment, and they'll remember that fondly. The next thing you want to do is be pragmatic. I said this last week. You need to be able to voice to your team, acknowledge to your team that not everyone has had it the same. So some people have had it more difficult than others. People wait for you to acknowledge this before they're willing to go forward with you. As I say in my change management practice, if you honor people's past, they'll let you take them to the future. And this is so critical. One time in a big project, a resource was working ridiculous hours for 18 months. And I said to her, wow. And she said to me, Keith, as long as my boss understands what I'm going through, I'm fine. That's how much respect that she had in her boss. This is very important. You can also be practical about this by active listening. You know these things. Don't interrupt while people are speaking. Wait a few seconds or a second or 2 before responding. Occasionally summarize, I think I hear you saying this. Does that make sense? And don't say, oh, I know exactly how you feel, because in a diverse environment, that's less and less likely. Just say, oh, I think I understand. All right? So remember that to be genuine, honoring isn't a big deal. It's small gestures. It's words of encouragement, small unanticipated things throughout the work. It's not a big deal. That's honor. Next, accommodate. You have been flexible, and you need to be flexible. That's great. And you need to tell people there's another round of adjustments coming because we don't know what the economy is going to look like. But you want to anchor those adjustments on the work process and the objectives of the work process. Then people won't see them as arbitrary, and you'll gain acceptance far more easily. Okay? The next thing you need to do is recognize the different aspects or different groups along the process. Just as you recognize individuals being different, some groups are going to have it more difficult than others. They're going to have more effort now. And they need to hear that too, just like individuals did. So recognize their uniqueness too. And next, you're going to, as you're making these accommodations, be careful, because you might be charged with favoritism. This is the danger to avoid. And why? Because some people aren't involved in some of the meetings you're having, and they're going to say, oh, they're getting special treatment. It's human nature. Here's how to avoid it. And I mentioned this last week. Be consistent in the outward forms that people see. So if you're going to meet with everyone individually. If you're going to meet with groups along a process, meet with each one, even if you're only concerned with one. Why? People will see the consistent outward forms, and even though those discussions were all different underneath, they'll say, this is good leadership. That's what you want. Next, look for examples of progress and accomplishments and recognize those in your team meetings, because that's how you empathize. Okay, and why is this important? Well, there was a very large CCL study. Large, 6,000 managers over 35 countries. And there was a direct correlation between managers who could empathize and higher team performance. That's critical. That's why this is on your essential list. Okay, so that's empathize. Now, next week we're going to talk about engage. If you're looking for the video link or the PDF, it's smgknowledge.com/reinvent. I'm glad you spent these 4 minutes with me. I look forward to hearing you and seeing you next week.